Hello and welcome. My name is Janae Sansaray. I came into this realm for a bit with some gifts. I am an Akashic Records librarian, able to read energy in the quantum space of all that is. I believe I chose to be here to assist and participate in the greatest higher dimensional shift we are all going through in the history of planet Earth. It's so exciting. If you want to learn more about me, I have put my website link in the description below. All right, let's get to it and enjoy this video. Hello, how's everybody doing out there? We are good. Welcome to Caitlin and my name is Janae, our Menopause and the Apocalypse podcast. How to navigate these menopausal energies. So, hello, Caitlin. Why don't you tell us
Hello, how
yourself?
oh, you're good.
You can
Which
hear. Yep.
oh,
Tell us
yeah.
about yourself. Tell us how amazing. I know you're a midlife mermaid and an amazing shaman and jeweler.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
got a lot of things. I do.
Cool.
Um, yeah, I'm a midlife mermaid and I am a healer, and I'm also navigating menopause in
Yep.
a very intensified time,
Yeah.
aka the apocalypse.
Yeah. We are. And apocalypse really is the rebirth, transformation, you know,
Yeah,
heard that word for so many years. It's actually been one of my favorite words because I like to be dramatic and it's like, oh, the apocalypse. But then I found out it was
yeah,
actually rebirth, the start, the end of an old and the start of a new. And so that's beautiful. And that's what we're doing through menopause. We are shedding away old ways. And we were kind of talking before we pushed record, and our hormones are like communicating with us throughout our whole life. There's something beyond this 3D matrix that uh, what we're calling it, to break free from the narrative around menopause. It's so much deeper, and our hormones talk to us and let us know what we need to clear out on a deeper level that may have been formed in childhood. Usually that's the case for any kind of um, pattern that is dysfunctional or doesn't serve us, or any body ailments. The hormones, it's all hormonal shifts and communication. It's fascinating. So that's what I've been
yes, it is.
diving into, is like, oh, I like, it's the spiritual causes of menopause. And that's those hormones talking to us and saying, hey, so like for me, my personal experience right now is like emotional. So that's my gauge of like, oh, something's out of balance, but my hormones are telling me through crying and going like through this roller coaster of emotions, I need to clear something deep out that possibly got started in my childhood years of not feeling good about myself, or not being loved enough. It's going in deep and trying to figure that out, which I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like the stories we tell ourselves, the
Mhm.
inner voice we may have developed from childhood, that tells us, "Oh, you're not good enough," or "You're never going to get the thing," or, whatever it is. I
Uh,
think what menopause is about is really breaking those patterns, and breaking and realizing those patterns, coming into real consciousness, so we can clear them out, so we can do the work that actually we really need to be doing. It's like there's this whole understanding of like, oh, we're going to get to a certain age and then you retire, and then, but really it's like you work through all this stuff through adolescence, through life, through the your youth, through the midlife, and when you get to midlife, that's when you really can like um you really can become conscious of all that's happened
Mhm.
and really get down with your true purpose
Mhm.
through like clearing out all the other stuff that really doesn't serve anymore and having a whole like, you know, I don't know, a real moments of clarity, moments of under where you just really understand yourself because you've been with yourself
Mhm.
for this long, 40 something years, or for me it's
Yeah.
54.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, so it's and
And
yeah,
it's
the
all
hormones are really.
hormonal shifts. So it's like so bring it back to the
Yeah.
hormones and the communication with our hormones of, like, how to navigate the spiritual, the emotional when we're teenagers, right when we hit the preteens, there's a hormonal shift. Feel like there's one when we're babies too, right? Or is that just there's some kind of development that happens, the terrible 2s, or 3s, and
Well,
then
2-year-olds are they're like it's the greatest time of growth next to the teenage years, really, in terms of
that's
the growing
the growing.
of the
Okay.
brain and the processes of the
Okay.
brain and yeah, physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really so it is an intense time as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, because then yeah, so
Yeah.
that's intense, and then there's the preteens, and then there's another hormonal shift that happens around 18, 19,
Mhm.
is what I've found, and so it's just nonstop with our bodies, um, and so it's figuring out that there's how to navigate that in a deeper way, that, oh, we're just getting
Yeah.
communication to figure stuff out so we can live balanced, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, with these changes.
Right.
Yeah, so
Well, and then by midlife is when we should really start to get a handle on it, right? This is like, okay.
yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, it
it's
is,
kind of
it's
like,
true. If
yeah,
we
because
yeah,
all the experience should, applied
yeah,
should allow that to happen,
that's right. Yeah,
right?
yeah, well, because 'cause I've been working on I know you have, so for me, menopause isn't too bad, but the emotional stuff that's coming up, I'm like, "Oh, okay. I guess I didn't clear that out. I guess I didn't clear the, not good enough, energy out." And so when I get, emotional but and so that's good. So that's surfacing. And so how do I do that? And how do you do that is meditation, just getting out in nature, just and being with the self, like you said, like just really taking time to be with yourself and process and connect, and eating the right foods as well, and then I was trying to, figure because I came to this aha with, we were talking, before recording, with eyesight, and that's totally hormonal, like, for me at least, because I started perimenopausing around 42, 43, and that's when my eyesight started getting wonky. So, I didn't put it together until I was just doing a little research on, like, "Oh, is menopause and eyesight, connected? Yes. And so the physical parts, we get dry eye, so maybe fuzzy, cataracts. I know you have an experience with yours. You said you got
Yeah, I first started to get when I first started to get menopausal symptoms,
mhm,
I was getting styes.
mm,
Like I got the 3 styes in a row, and I was like, "Why am I getting styes?" And it was because my estrogen was dropping, and I figured it out, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I was just like, "What?" And then I could prevent it because I think it's dry eye, and then that'll turn to a,
right.
that gets irritated and becomes a stye.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so now I recognize when my eyes start to get like recently I was having eye pain where my
Mm,
eyes are really tired. They felt really sore too.
uh-oh.
And then, yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, what foods are for the eyes? And so I just looked up and I was like, okay, so I started juicing carrots more,
Good.
and eating carrots. I eat carrots all the time now. Luckily, there's yummy carrots really close by this farm,
Awesome.
and greens.
Yeah.
And I realized I was eating a lot of huckleberries because we had so many huckleberries on the land, and then now they're gone, of course, this winter.
Yeah.
And so I was not eating dark berries.
Uh,
And so now I'm eating like frozen blueberries like in the morning and the evening because we don't
yeah,
have access to
okay.
fresh. Well, we do have fresh, but the frozen are yummy. They're like a treat.
They are. Yes.
So that's really helping. And I
Good.
did a
Yeah,
little cod
good.
liver too, because I don't do any fish, and that was a good one for it.
That
So
is, yep, that is really good. Yep,
yeah.
the omega 3s and eye
And
exercises.
then doing a little eye exercises, like rolling my eyes around, looking up and down, and that's supposed to really help too.
Yeah.
And then the biogeometry work, I've been working on my eyes
Yeah,
too.
the energy work.
That.
So back to that. So
Mhm.
yeah, because that's the physical and sensitive to light. So that's I was glad to see that on the list because my eyes have just been so sensitive to light. Um
Yeah,
recently or in the last couple of years or whatever. But yeah, so but then what's the spiritual message with this hormonal shift and then it affects so when something affects the body and then the hormones are communicating, what's the spiritual, what's the message the the conscious like the subconscious or conscious the of beliefs or um
don't
thoughts.
like what you see.
Well, that's exactly, yeah. So what is it that I'm not liking seeing in the 3D matrix that we live in? Um, that we're yeah, so it's like that. Don't like seeing that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's figuring out what is it that we don't like seeing in our, and to work on that, to meditate on that, and to
yeah,
change those thoughts because that's negative programming in there somewhere. So it's like, "Oh, I actually love what I'm seeing. I'm out, and, I'm in a beautiful place. You know, have beautiful friends. Like you." So it's like reprogramming to what we are, wanting to see. So that's
yeah,
and
yeah,
connecting it to and it could be from ancestors because 'cause we've talked about ancestors. It could be from a past life as well. Like, so it's really being aware of so many different energies that could be affecting, eyesight or emotions, and I know a lot of women get hot flashes. Like, what does that stem from? Is that deep-seated anger towards men, that has to be worked on?
I hope not.
No, I'm just saying, or like a, deep anger just in life, like, "Oh, I'm not happy with what is it?" So I'm not saying that's yours, but why are those hot flashes coming up? What's the spiritual component around that? What hasn't been faced yet? When we get these physical sensations in our body going through menopause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my hot flashes lately are just a reminder to be completely present. Because
Mm,
it's like when I get one, I have to stop and like tear my clothes off or whatever I can do to like alleviate it.
yeah.
So, but I have to stop what I'm doing. I can't continue working or pushing forward with, I work really hard. I am always working. So I think it
Yeah.
really is like, okay, well, come into your body
Yeah, yeah.
and
But
just
yeah.
take this moment in and stop, stop what you're doing.
Mm,
Pay
yeah,
attention
that's beautiful.
to the
Yeah.
energies.
And then breathe through it.
Stop
I know I'll
physically
breathe
moving.
through things too. Like, you could
Yeah,
probably even stop it from happening because I believe in that is possible too, the instant healing and stop, because I've done that with myself with things. So it's like you like literally put yourself in another like vibrational space where it's not happening. So that's fun. Works half the, you know, works sometimes, other times
that would
doesn't.
be a lot
That would
throughout
be
the day. But they come and go. It's like they're here now, and they were gone a few weeks, for a few weeks. So it's a real interesting. I'm trying to understand the pattern because I We're both Virgo rising, so we can understand patterns and see
Yep.
patterns and
Yep.
recognize, and it's really hard to see what the pattern is because, I like, okay, what did I change? What I ate, and I tried different things to help keep them to but also, I just allow them and just, you know,
Mhm.
it's like I can get mad at it because it's happening, and it just that creates rage just because I'm like, oh God, I have to deal with this. And
Yeah.
that's where the rage is for me. It's like just like, oh, well, okay, I have to stop and do this. But then if I have an attitude of like, okay, I'm gonna stop
Mm.
and just allow this to pass. And then, so it's like calming myself through this process. It's like I choose how I can experience it.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
really good. Be conscious of how you're gonna experience it, and it does work because we are creating through our thoughts, even through
Yeah.
menopause, even through this apocalyptic energy shift that we're
Well,
going
part of me
through.
part of me loves like being in a cool environment because I go outside and it's like I can be outside
Mm,
in the midday, and not cold,
yeah,
with barely any, to just like run outside, and that's kind of
that's fun.
fun.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Not be freezing,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't been experiencing them lately, but I have had them a few times. Like, but they're not full on like you get or other women. I just get this, like, little slight wave that go, and I love it because I was like, I like being warm, I like being hot. So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, the wave is coming," and it's just like, it feels
A
good to
wave of warmth.
the wave of
I
warmth.
know I get flushed. I don't get full like
Mm.
dripping sweat, but I get
Yeah,
flushed. I'm
got
definitely like
flushed.
all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, okay. The thing I don't like is sweating in my clothes. I
Oh,
don't like sweating in my clothes. It's
yeah.
really bothers me. So I have to like take whatever off or put it back on or whatever. But yeah, I have to wear things I can like take off really quickly.
Awesome. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and, so, yeah, so, like, that's, oh, yoga, that was the other thing too, yeah, so it's like, yeah, these hormonal changes that we go through, there's things that we can do. Yeah, take your clothes off, do yoga, um, but yeah, the eyesights, and then yeah, and then just those sensations, or just any kind of ailment that, hormones can, affect in our body. Um just the
Yeah.
physical things that happen, like, I know hormones are, um, have to do with, like, frozen shoulders, so I had to deal with having 2 frozen shoulders, actually, 1 on the right side, and I finally, like, that through lots of meditation and lots of eating right and lots of, like, just knowing that it would clear, went away after about a year, and then the other one went, my left side, so and then that took about another year. Like, it was crazy, but it does, like, when you work with your body and you communicate and you're clearing stuff out, you can heal these without doing surgery. Because I hear a lot of people will get the surgery with their,
Oh, I know. Right.
shoulder. Or so either it's the frozen shoulder or the sciatica. So, and that's
Mm,
hormonal, because I saw a lot of women come in, when I was the herbalist at the pharmacy on, Kauai. I saw a lot of women come in with, um, that were, in our age range that had sciatica stuff. So,
mm. Yeah.
um,
Had a
yeah,
lot of sciatica in my life.
okay. So I
But
feel
also, I mean, the hormones regulate things. So it could be minerals, the balance of hormones messes with your minerals or messes with, you know what I mean? So it's like the frozen shoulder can be fixed with minerals and balancing the minerals in your body too, which
yeah,
is hormones are connected with that.
that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like that regulation is there's like highs and there's like these cycles of highs and lows
Mm, okay. Yeah,
that
I
we're
love
trying to
that.
regulate and keep balance. Like last spring, there I just went on a nettle craze, and I was harvesting nettles and making, like, this tea that was, like, black. I mean, it was so
That's
rich with nettles, and then drinking tons
oh
of
my
it
god.
every day, and you cannot OD on nettles, like, literally, you can
No.
have so much, and it's I
Yeah.
think it will, like, if you have, blood if you're on blood thinners, it's not good because it can thin out your blood too much, but, um, I didn't have any symptoms
That's
of
amazing.
any hormonal symptoms during that time, and I was like, "Wow, that's ideal." But, and I dried some nettles too, but I didn't dry enough. I'm, like, gonna do a big harvest and dry this year, but I think also the fresh had something in them that the dried doesn't, because I don't
Okay.
get that same effect with the dried,
Interesting.
you know?
Okay. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
nuts, so I
So, but
recommend
I
it
was, like,
to everybody.
full on nettle obsessed
Yeah.
for, yeah, for the
I
spring.
no,
So,
I'm obsessed with
we
nut
should
that's my, like, one of my yeah, like, I drink it every day. I do like, I just made a t like, I drink tea every day. I feel like a witch brewing up my, tea, but yep, I just brewed up a big, um, pot today with, nettles and all sorts of other yummy I put rose petals and red clover. Red clover, I'm starting to add because that helps with balancing the hormones as well. So,
yeah, I didn't have too
those
much, I tried that, it didn't really affect me, but
okay,
it is a good herb, though. I did like
I
it.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, I know, I've been starting to do it more because I have a stove, and I can put a jar with, nettles on the stove and have it just heat up as I'm working and
Awesome.
stoking the fires.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
the
very cool.
endless fire stoking.
And I love it. Um,
But, yeah,
yeah,
but nettles are
you
amazing.
and I are both doing fires, yeah.
Yeah, we're in fire country.
Yep. So, yeah, what is there anything else that you can think of, on the
Well, I mean, my thing with the issue with, you know, balancing, because I do a lot of work in, shamanic practice with the elements.
Mhm,
So I really and then this is something that I was reading a lot about in Sharon Blackie's book, the Hagitude book that I was talking about, where she talks about, it's if you haven't done it already, start really connecting to the land you're on and to the different trees that are around and the wildlife, and like start to really forge a relationship with the earth,
right.
you know,
Yeah,
and that the elements are a part of that, right? Because we have water, earth, air, fire, ether. These are all like in every tradition, there's a practice of honoring the elements.
yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah, so, I've spent a lot of time in water, surfing and doing all kinds of I love water. I've
Mm,
been in the river when I first moved here, I was in the river all year round, dipping. And it's like I'm not in the water as much, but my reverence for the water
mm,
has strengthened through a lot of the practices of the moon ceremonies, and where you create a container by honoring each element and calling in the directions to protect the space. So making offerings to the directions, um, like tobacco, or um, also, even like crystals, or
yeah, so
um,
yeah.
coffee, and water, and things like that. Like they like the things of this world, like you do with the spirits and the ancestors.
Chocolate.
So really, like now when I go to the river, I always like pray to the water and and offer prayer and really connect to the water in a deeper way.
Yeah.
And in menopause, we should start deepening that practice
Mm,
as we are returning to the earth eventually. um, that we should, you know, develop a practice of honoring the land you're on. You can work it with a reciprocity kind of practice where it's like, I bury crystals in the yard, certain places, and there's certain fairy rings that I make offerings to. I have like little altars everywhere, and my neighbors love it. They're just like, little crystals and the tree stumps, and things like that. It's just kind of, you know,
Love
it
it.
but it is like and you just have to direct it with your voice. You have to say it out loud. This is for you, ancestors of the land. This is for you. If I'm at the north altar in my fire circle, and you direct it.
Mm,
You just say it out loud to direct it. And yeah, you can just start to really cultivate that and deepen that relationship.
mhm,
I always like when I first started doing ceremonies, like sweat lodge and all that, we just like I I really got, the importance of the directions, but then I was like, "Oh no, it's like if you really start working with them, they become like beings
mhm,
that you align with." And then this is part of the balancing too of your inner elements,
mm.
your inner fire, your inner water. So
Yeah, I love that.
really, yeah, developing that in whatever, there's different traditions you can look to. There's a tradition, everybody has a tradition if you go follow it back far enough, you
Mhm,
know. And it's interesting because mine is from Scotland, Ireland, and I mean, it's other, but that's kind of the one I more work with because of my ancestors from there that I work with. But you can find, they were really into the salmon, they were really into the oak trees and the acorn,
mm,
and it's very common.
yeah,
They were very into the water, and the waters led to the other worlds, and
yeah,
these were the magical realms. They
right.
were underground. Yeah. So why we and also as we get older, it's good to take on, protecting
Mhm,
protecting certain areas of the earth,
oh,
protecting the zone
yeah, for sure.
and honoring and protecting the earth, the way that you can,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Like I play a drum, the drum creates a resonance
mhm,
with the sound. So I get a real and that really increased my connection to the earth as well. It's like the drum is like the the conduit, you know,
yeah,
where I can get. Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that's really something that if you're not already in a practice to just get kind of conscious of,
mhm.
you know,
Yeah, I love that, that's
all the
beautiful.
trees, all the trees in my yard. I'm just like, oh, hey, hi, they're
Yeah,
all watching me.
that's
Like, hey, you know, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I get out on my deck and I dance to all of them, and I just do a lot of that stuff
yeah.
to
No,
keep,
it's
you know, to
well,
to
it's healing
give. I mean, what
and
I have, yeah,
yeah. It helps you stay
yeah,
balanced and that ties into the hormones, like, if we're balanced through nature and yeah, and these and ceremonial, like, I love that, like, I have a lot of trees around me, and that's my every day. I come out, I go outside, and I connect, except when it's raining, I stay under the carport and connect with them, but usually I walk through and yeah, and it's really important 'cause that's, like, what feels just true and real, and
yeah,
healing, and it
yeah,
balances me, yeah, and that's part of this process that we're going through, yeah, into the
mm,
crone state. Yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah, and that sound with your drum is so healing. Yeah,
mm.
and fire circle, like the fire too, like you said, all the elements, it's like, um, the dir
Yeah.
the
I mean, every day when I work in my workspace, I have a fire. I have
Yeah,
fireplace, and I make a conscious prayer to the fire every day when
yeah,
I make a fire. It's
yeah.
like, "Oh, thank you, fire. I'm so grateful for you, fire." Like,
Mm,
because it keeps me warm and all that, and then the wood and the whole thing.
yeah,
So it's just like that, just becoming more reverent in
yeah,
when we work with aspects of nature
yeah.
and
In your everyday life
aspects of
because there's more to,
yeah,
like, there's more to what we can just see with our eyes. Like,
yeah.
just there's so much energy and frequency everywhere with the elementals, and so it is
I
important.
know, we were talking about this right before. It's like we live in a multi-dimensional reality, and there's a lot of different beings all around us,
Mhm.
spiritual beings,
Yep,
entities, lower
yep,
dimensional beings, higher dimensional beings.
right,
So, you know, we're
yep,
not alone at
right.
all. And
Yeah,
so it's good to like develop a conscious awareness of who's around you.
mhm,
And then also, are they influencing you?
yep,
Have you allowed, I think not stating your boundaries is almost allowing some of these beings
right,
to come in. So,
right, and that's
so
really important. Yeah, state your boundaries.
yeah,
Um, only light and
yeah.
love
Only
can.
love and light can come in. Only love and light is allowed here,
Mhm,
you know,
yep,
and just being really aware of your energy field.
that's right.
It's always important.
It
Yeah.
is. And our hormones are our gauge, is our communication with that. So it's all connected is what I'm
Yeah.
really figuring out. Like, whoa, okay. Through
Yeah.
starting with perimenopause, yeah, and even if you're still on your cycle, like your moon cycles. I figured that
Mhm.
out a long time ago on my moon cycles. I was like, "Oh, like, there's some kind of communication happening here for me to figure out whenever," because my go-to is, like, emotional. I get so, like, sad or emotional, and it's like, "Where is this coming from?" And so but it's my hormones were telling me, "Something's out of balance, you need to figure it out." And so that
Mm.
was, so long years ago, and so I was like, "Oh, okay." And I just kept going inward and then figuring it out, and then, pretty soon I wasn't like, really super duper emotional on my moon cycles, my monthly cycles. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think towards the last, couple years of mine, I've, like, got really intentional with it, like, putting
Mhm.
my
Yeah,
blood on the earth and not taking at least a whole day to off. Because this is the thing, I was always, like, trying to push through, do
mm,
everything that I normally do, and really, we're supposed to take time out, and we also are way more connected to the earth and to
yeah,
the other realms during that time.
yeah,
So I wasn't using it properly. I was just like pushing through. Oh, I just want to have another the day, my agenda, da da da. But it's like, nope, you got to take time out. And it's like, God, I'd rest that first day, and I'd have so much more energy instead of dragging myself through. You
yep,
know,
yeah.
no, better
What
the
we've been
wisdom.
told that we need to do. It's like, yeah.
Oh
'Cause
yeah, we need to like be wearing white and water skiing and all kinds of things. I was just thinking of all the tampon commercials,
oh my god,
like,
hilarious.
they're
Yes.
coming back to
Just
my mind from
stick a plug in, you'll be
childhood.
totally fine.
But wear white, of course. Wear white. Yeah. I
Yes. Oh my gosh.
know,
It's just, yeah, this
yes.
weird world we've lived in, and then because we went over the history of menopause on our last podcast, which I was
Oh, yeah.
shocked because I didn't really study the history of menopause, and I was like when I went deep in there, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, women, we've really had it bad in this, false 3D matrix that we live in." Like, we've been persecuted. They're like, "Oh, menopausal women are witches, burn them." Or they have a
They're
disease,
not
logically
useful. Well,
unsound.
they're not
Yes.
What's their purpose? They're not producing,
They're not there's no
you know?
not any
Like,
yeah,
yeah, they're basically
I know.
insane.
So we've had to deal with a lot. So that's, so
Well, and
yeah.
you think about our culture, it's like all that has to do is have a vibe about something.
Mm.
You don't even really have to know the history.
You
Just
right,
the vibe
totally.
around it
It's
has
the
been put out
collective.
as like, yeah, it's like, oh God, menopausal women, you
Yeah,
know.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy bitches.
well, we are, but, let's no, just,
Well, I
uh,
mean, that was another thing too, is like letting go, giving no fucks. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say how I feel right now. And I'm
That's really, yeah, important as
gonna
well,
hold on. Yeah.
in a
So I
loving
really
way.
feel,
Yes, but, I mean, and it can be blunt,
yeah,
but if it's from your heart and it's not mean, you're not like but, yeah, it's like,
right.
it's I really love this time of my life because I actually really am not giving a F, like, I
Yeah.
mean, I am, but that I'm not because I'm speaking my truth, and,
Yeah.
yeah, so
So the
to be
inhibitions
honored
to
with our
just,
truth. You might not
yeah,
someone might not agree with it, but, "Oh, well, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective."
yeah.
We get so persecuted by a collective. We even if we think different, if we act different, if we, it's, um, we can get, and so, we can
Well,
tend
and there's this thing that we're not supposed to change. We're
right.
supposed to remain youthful,
Oh, yeah,
and
yes.
you know
Right.
that whole thing, and just keep
Oh,
pumping the lips and putting the Botox, or
yeah,
you know keep looking young,
that's right.
which is end up looking
You're
worse
yeah, that's
because you're not being true to
yeah,
your,
the process. I mean,
yeah, the process.
yeah, like, and I'm gonna age with grace, but it is, because when you're watching yourself try you because you c I
Oh, it's challenging.
it's
I don't
challenging.
like it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, "Who's that in the
But
mirror?"
then I'm like, also, I just like, well, I need to represent, women in their 50s. Like,
Yeah,
I'm doing the dance thing. I need to be out there
yeah,
representing. It's like for a
uh,
while, I was like, oh, I don't want to share because I'm not young and cute anymore. And it's just like, no, I actually need to perform, and I need to do things like out in the world. And this, like, I actually remembered, after I did this belly dance performance a while ago. It was probably like 5 years ago. Oops. And then I went to a bar after with a bunch of friends, and there was a woman playing in a band, and she was like in her 60s, and we were right in front of her where we were sitting, and it's like she just rocked it. And she had
oh,
such a good voice, and she was amazing. And I was like, that's what I want to be like. Like, that's how I just feel like the inhibitions
yeah,
can go, and I just be myself, you
that's
know? Because I feel like I spent a lot of my life just like being like, oh, it's not perfect, and that's astrology. That's
that's
a whole other
totally
thing.
astrology, that's
But it's like there's like a point where you have to go, you know what? It's never going to be perfect.
yeah,
And it's really about sharing, and
mm,
the expression and the love, and
yeah,
it's like I was so juiced from this lady. She was like so amazing, so
that's cool,
vibrant, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah, she should be seen. She should be out and,
I love that. Yeah,
representing. Yeah.
presenting, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Gosh, it was
that's
amazing.
exciting. Let's make menopause fun, like, this is an
Yeah.
exciting time of this transformation, this, you know, amazing time in our life where we are really getting to know ourselves and stepping into it and being comfortable with that. So,
Yeah. Being
uh,
comfortable with it.
be comfortable with it. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're comfortable with it, other people will be comfortable
That's
with
right.
it,
That's it.
you
That's like
know?
the law of
Yeah,
energy right there. Like, because if
yeah,
you, because we're all energy, we can feel each other's energy. And I mean, you can feel like when you are around people, you can feel when they're uncomfortable. It makes you uncomfortable. But when you're around someone that just is comfortable with themselves, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm comfortable with myself too. So
yeah. No,
that's what
it's
we're going to do.
contagious.
Uh, yeah. We're going to make menopause
Yay.
fun and exciting and comfortable and and juicy because that's what we're
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do. So comment in the comments, your experience, please. Like how is your menopause going? How are your cycles going? Um, what are you doing to make it fun and comfortable? And hopefully this helped you if you weren't in that space to view it in a whole different light. So,
Yeah.
Caitlin,
It's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah. Please,
love
please
these
comment.
conversations. Yeah.
So fun.
They are. I know, I love it. And so, yeah, so we'll wrap it up. Do you, yeah, any last wise words or
I don't know. No,
no?
not
Okay.
really.
I love it. So yeah, I'm excited that that we're starting this podcast. We've gotten on before, but we really are I love getting on here and focusing on what we can do with the spiritual side of menopause and help other women out there on what our experience. All we're doing is sharing our experience. We're not doctors or, practitioners to tell you what to do. We're just sharing like what has worked
Just
for us.
Virgo risings.
Virgo
Just a
risers,
couple of intensified Virgo risings.
seriously. Video perfect. We might
Yeah.
oh,
That's why we have to just go on and just do this without,
I
I mean,
know.
we plan things, but we just had to start
Mm.
because it's like the Virgo will like never do until it's perfect. And it's like we have to challenge that.
That's
We have to
exactly
challenge that. And when since we're in a rising sign is what we're evolving into as we get older. So
oh,
stepping more into that
yeah,
balanced Virgo and not the Virgo that's like, oh no, it's not perfect. And I'm a hermit. I'm not going to come out and like expose myself, but really stepping in as the high priestess.
yeah.
We have the power. We have a lot of, I've been told all my life, oh, you're powerful, but
Mm,
I didn't really know how to be powerful in the positive ways so much.
right.
So this is part of that, evolution for both of us
Oh, yes.
too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an exciting time because of the just because planet Earth is going through major energy shifts and ascension, and to be here doing it through menopause. That's my big joke too. Yeah, we're in the Great
Yeah.
Awakening, and I decided to come in and do it menopausally. The Great Awakening and menopause at the same time. It's so that's
Well, it
fun.
just matches the inner awakening and the outer awakening. It's
Yes,
just,
that's right.
thing on all levels.
Love it. Yep.
I just
Wow.
think everybody's a minute, whether you know it or not.
That's right. So go make your day amazing. And Caitlin, you're an amazing shaman. You do energy work, you do biogeometry. So if you want to get a session with Caitlin, she's amazing. She really is powerful and can clear even entities. So you've been doing exorcisms and
Yeah.
clearing lower vibrational forms out of people because that's what we're talking about earlier. And so how can someone get a hold of you to
Well, you can go to my website. It'll be linked, caitlinrossodom.com.
okay.
And yeah, just message me. I work the biogeometry. What it does is take all disturbances in your body and it can raise them to a higher vibration.
Mhm.
So that's part of the like clearing of other entities and things like that, because entities, lower vibes cannot remain when you clear your body of that and you raise it up. So, and it can happen in the environment too. I can do work with the land and the home. Of course, the body I can do remotely, but the land and stuff I have to go to the site.
Mhm.
Um, but I also have a lot of information about how you can
Do it
I
yourself.
my goal is to empower others and not be the source, but to empower others, like help them get, vibing high, and then how you stay that way and how you keep clearing your space, and basically a lot of what do you call it? Spiritual hygiene,
Mm,
just really like how to, because we have a lot of impregnation, we have a lot of interaction, then we have a lot of electric, which isn't
mm,
actually not a good thing for our bodies or our environment. It actually starts to take your life force.
mm.
So, how do we increase life
Yep,
force energy? That's like the whole thing, pretty
it is.
much.
That's what biogeometry.
And
Yeah.
understanding ourselves. Yeah, with the biogeometry. And so, but I combine the astrology, you know, because this is about consciousness about yourself and your environment, and then really just getting into that
Well, that's what we are.
developing.
We are consciousness, and then these are tools to keep our consciousness high. So that's how I see it. It's our energy field, whatever you wanna call it. It's all like, it's just it is yeah, consciousness.
Well, and
Yeah.
but it also
Mhm.
embodying this information, because that's the thing. We can know
Yeah,
mentally, but
that's
it's like really bringing it into the body.
being aware
And
of the frequencies.
yeah,
So that's what I've been really getting
yeah,
really good at, is seeing where I'm at with, yeah, it's really cool. Um,
yeah,
and you doing, yeah, and those couple sessions that you've done on me, they're just it's instant. So, yeah, I love it.
yeah,
And yeah. So, and I do similar work. Yeah,
yeah. What do you do?
hop into, someone's energy field and get information on where, there's been blocks that were formed, usually in childhood, and so I can go in and clear those, and so similar, like, energy work, through theta healing, cutting cords, and just raising, frequency, helping people raise their own frequency. And we all need help. But, and I, like you said, I like to give the tools to, to my clients so
Yeah,
that they can work on themselves,
be yeah, to be empowering
be
others,
empowered. Right.
because I've had the experience with others, other healers, where it's like they want to be the source, and that's like a red flag. If you're seeing somebody and they want to be the source of
Yes.
your healing
Right.
and they don't want to empower you, that is, you know,
That's lower
turn tail.
energies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of tricksters out there.
There
So
are. There are, unfortunately.
yeah.
Yep, so that's what we do, and I'm gonna put everything in the description below, so thank you for hanging out to the end of our video if you made it
Yeah.
this far with us.
Yeah.
Our
You'll
personal
get a bonus.
I love it's like, our intimate conversation with Caitlin and Jamae around,
Yeah.
anything. I don't know, we kinda go off into different areas, so, but yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for
Well,
joining us. If you enjoyed that, please like it and share, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as well to my channel and Caitlin's, and then, again, I'll put everything in our description below. Alright, well, bye for now.
bye. Thanks for joining us.